everyone, welcome to my live stream. Today I am working on one of my final illustration projects of the semester. It's another interior illustration. It's for the same Arsène Lupin story, the first one ever written. And it's illustrating a scene that's not actually described in the text, but that is sure to happen if you follow it through, which is a image of the camera, which was the hiding place for the stolen jewels and money at the bottom of the sea, because it gets dumped overboard. So I've already got my lines traced, and it's got these fish. Here's the camera, here's the jewels, the sandy bottom, and so I'm going to paint it now. I'm going to start by putting some masking tape on the back to help it keep its shape a little bit as the paper gets wet. It's still going to warp, but it'll hold its shape a little bit better, and then once I'm done I can just smush it for like a week under some books, and then it'll be super flat. I figured out this year that if I really want it flat, I should just buy those aqua board panels. They're masonite panels with like a treatment on them, and yeah, those stay flat. But this 300-pound paper is so nice too, so I don't know if I'll ever completely go away from the 300-pound paper, but aqua board is really nice too. And then I do 2 cross pieces. Boop. There. That's good. Just something to give it a little extra help. But the first thing I'm going to do is a big wash, so it's definitely going to go whoop as soon as I get all the water all over it. But I love doing a single color, or could be a gradient, but just a big wash over the entire scene, regardless of what I want the rest of the colors to be first, because then that gives the whole image a what am I trying to say? Gives it all a cohesive feeling at the end because it's got this same undertone. So I'm just getting it wet first. Wait to the edges of my format. Now I'm going to bring up. Oh, my water bottle's in the way of my mouse. Let's see. I've got to get this up over here, I think. Yeah, so it's like a green. I've got images of the fish that I use as reference. And the water they're in is more like green than what you would expect blue. It's actually more of a green. And then the sand is like the color you'd expect. So get a nice blue-green going. Oh, are you blurry, camera? Come on now. That's better. Actually, I've got some leftover paint here that looks perfect. I'll scoop this up first. Ah, yeah, it's not enough. Not enough paint. Let's get some more paint. Let's get a little of this bright green. And some of this kind of tree-ish green. spread some more. And get some more of that bright green for the top to kind of show that the light's coming from the top, so it's brighter up there. Oh, I've got a little bristle up there. Get out of there, bristle. I really need a pair of tweezers for whenever I watercolor, because there's always a little bristle that comes out of the brush. There, nice. Yeah, I'm liking this. Just gonna mix it in the middle with some water, extra water. Okay, that's good for my starting wash. Just rinse my brush and dry it. So this needs to dry before I keep going. There is something else I'm going to do though. First I want to take care of my brush. Since it's watercolor, I don't have to like be too fastidious about cleaning my brushes right away, but I like to do it anyway because it's a good habit. Because then those rare times that I use acrylic or something that will ruin the brush if I let it dry, it's good if I don't have to specifically remember that. It's just habit. Let's see, I need a, I guess I'll use this. That's too wet already. I need a towel. So I'm going to pull some of this paint away. I'm going to get some little underwater lighting effects, pulling the paint away. The page is still nice and wet, so the watercolor comes to fill in those dry areas, so it's not too stark of a, like a cut through the color. It's just this nice, soft. So actually I got to keep swiping to preserve the areas I want to preserve. And if I feel like it's a little too much, dab away at it. Of course, a lot of this will be covered up, but this little starting still makes a difference at the end. You can tell at the end that it's making a difference, even if it's subtle, even if you only notice it because you saw it happen in the first place. So it's still drying. I'm going to get a little bit of lotion because my hands are super dry. Anytime my hands get wet, they get crazy dry and cracked. So I'll just keep a little lotion thing. It's another thing to take up some time while I wait for it to dry too. Yeah, look, my lotion is the color green too. That's better. Much better. So it's still pretty wet. I don't know if you guys can see that because the lamps are so low. Here, lamp, show that. Show that it's still wet. Yep, I think you can see. I think you can see that. Now that I'm looking at this, I think I'll actually dab away a little on these piles of sand too. Because they are like in the water, so we're looking through water, so it's fine if they are, if they're green. But if I dab away, then I'm already starting to get a highlight before I even put down any other kind of color. And since it's under the sea, the light is definitely at the top, the light source. So actually, I think I'll do the same thing on the fish to show the light hitting them from above. The camera. Yay, that's good. Now what? It's about 4 elements that I really need to fill in. Camera, gems, fish, and the sand. Maybe I should start with the fish because they're at the top, and then that way as I work downwards that can dry, and then yeah, I think that's good. So fish are pretty big but not that big, so I'll use this size brush. Let me look at the fish reference photos I had. Yeah, one is almost blue because of the lighting. The other one is kind of gray. They're both the same type of fish. I got reference images off of Wikipedia, like public domain ones or whatever you call it. They have stripes. And the stripes start around their gills. So like around here, the stripes start. And their eyes are pretty dark. Fins are light because they're clear. Okay. So I think I'll do like a blue-green kind of color. Let's see. So I definitely want to bring in that under the sea kind of feeling. Maybe some of this kind of blue too. Ooh, that looks nice. Yep, I'm gonna start with this. It's bleeding a lot more than I expected. It's okay because I've got all the lines. Oh, Soon is in here. My dog Soon is in here. That's what that jingle was. I'm sure you heard it. Jingle, jingle. He shook his head. His Christmas jingle collar went jingle, jingle. Let me look at this. Whoops. Let me look at this reference again. I'm gonna just pop the chat out so that I can keep it. I'm gonna pop the chat out. Pop out chat. Pop out chat. Clear chat? No. Pop out chat button. Used to be one. Collapse. Huh. Show icons, etc. Oh, there you go. You gotta switch to non-mod. That's silly. Okay, there. Now I can have a Photoshop up and chat up in case anyone want to chat. Sweet. So I really got to be able to see this reference. So these lines do go all the way to the tail. I don't know if you could hear that. Arsène's making funny noises. Sort of fades into the tail. Then this part is also dark. I love doing that. It's so satisfying. You put it down and then you paper towel it away and it's like, ah. Looks so amazing. Phew. Sweet. What else? Let's get these little fins down here. They're also pretty see-through, so towel most of that away. Oops. Made a mark where I didn't mean to. Something cool about watercolor. It's always talked about as if it's this like permanent media and you can't do anything about it once it's on the page, but you can actually control it a little bit. So like that was already dry, but if you get it wet again and tap it, you can still pull some of it off. It of course won't come completely off. Once you stain the paper, it's kind of stuck there, but you can still edit quite a bit. Go back and edit. Fishy number 1. Okay, fishy number 2 time. I think I need to mix a little bit more color. Got this like forest green and then ultramarine blue. It makes this excellent dark but vibrant blue color. Dang, sleeve won't stay pulled up. Come on, sleeve. It's cold here today, so I'm gonna wear long sleeves, but they get in my way when I'm working. Okay. Yeah, this fish is much drier. The color's slightly different, but that's okay because it's a different fish. Actually makes sense for this fish to be a little more clear. because it's closer to the viewer. I think I was saying earlier that I have the lines. I was starting to say, but I didn't finish saying that I have the lines for this. I actually did them digitally first, then printed them and transferred them with transfer paper to this sheet. So even if my painting isn't that precise, the lines are already there, so it's gonna work out pretty good either way. Just boop, scan it back in, pop the lines on top. Probably have to do some editing in case it falls too much outside of the lines, but I'm alternately getting color and water because I sometimes just want to add a little water to thin this out and keep it wet. Then I run out of color and I want to add some more color. Dab that one just like the last one. In fact, dab this one already too. And spread the paint that I dabbed on here to the rest of the body. It gives it a nice texture, kind of like the fish scales. So I'm definitely not going to paint each and every little scale. That's not the kind of work I do. I like this more just giving you an idea of the texture rather than trying to be photorealistic. Because if you want to be photorealistic, you could just take a photo. That's my opinion, anyway. And it's not just for my art, just like art that I like. I like it when it does stuff that you can't really do in real life. That's what makes it more special to me. Stylization is more special. More fun, I think. Okay, get these fins. But dab them away right away because they're very clear, very translucent. In fact, I got a little too much color on this one. That's okay. It's all good. Seriously, all good. What else? I think this is looking pretty good, actually. Yeah, this top fin, I really didn't do much with this top fin, the dorsal fin. Side of the belly is pretty white for a fish. Pretty white for a fish. Some lines here. Define this fin a little bit more. This one as well. That's good enough to be going with for my first round. I'll add more detail once it's dry. So now, well, I don't want to do the camera because it's right next to the fish. I'm going to wait for the fish to dry. So, what's good? The gems? The gems are fun. I'll do the gems. there are all kinds of different colors. There's like a yellow one, blue, green, red. And this yellow is quite a warm yellow. I think I'll do the main color first. I'm going to switch to my smaller brush. Oops. Stay. Oh, that's much better. Highlights come from the top, so I'm going to dab away the color from the top. Well, the highlights don't come from the top. The light comes from the top, which makes the highlights at the top. That's what I'm trying to say. There. And I'm just going to do the basic color for now, so I can get those real sharp shadows that make it look gem-like. Can't get those if you paint wet on wet. You gotta wait for it to dry. Okay, and there's another yellow one here. Then we've got blue. Oh, it's right next to that one. Hope they do blend. They might. It'll probably be okay. Even if they blend, what the heck? It'll look cool. Again, highlight should be at the top because the light is coming down. Okay, not one touching, the one that's drying. Oh, I can do that big green one right there. It's like a nice rich. Like emerald green, this one is. Ooh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's a nice color. I just mixed 3 kinds of greens to get the color I want. Boop, boop. Oh, so satisfying. Super satisfying. Let's see, how's that working? There's another one down there. Okay. Once we get inside of this camera box, light's not coming from straight down actually, because the light's being blocked by the top of the camera, so it's coming in through the door. So I'm keeping that in mind as I pull away color. Let's see, what's another one that's not touching? This red one. Lovely red one. In fact, I don't have this like juicy, lovely wine red like how it is in this reference picture. Just have to approximate. Maybe if I add a tiny bit of this warm brown color. Whatever, it works, I guess. What's cool about this red one is actually kind of showing through this greenish gem that's in front of it. Cool. And there's not too much light because it's farther back. Oh, just pull that tiny bit away right there. Alrighty, what's another one? Not touching a drawing. Oh look, here's this gem is also red. What color is this one? It's got dark. There's that ultramarine. And this one's really far back, so there's hardly any light touching it relative. But I pull a little tiny bit away. Now I guess I can do this little one. It's actually just like a clear gem, so I'll use this like grayish, brownish color. And it's wide out in the open, so pull a ton of color away from that one. Background gem, yellow. Seems like the one next to it's yellow also. And why not? That makes it easier for me. Okay, those feel dry. Hopefully they are. Still a little bit damp, this green one, but I pull the color away and see what happens. Okay, it's like completely gone. Excellent. what the heck, I guess I'll do this one next. It's like a really nice light blue. Almost an ice blue. So actually, I'll add a tiny bit of white to tint it. This one's also blue, but it's a slightly different kind of blue, so I'm going to keep it separate. This is the next. Guess this is still a little damp, but this is a blue one as well, so it should be alright. I guess I could do that one in the back right next to it as well. The other ones are still quite wet. Ah, I guess I could do this one. Oh, there's Soon again. Whenever he shakes his head, his jingle collar goes. Jingle, jingle. It's so fun when we go on our walks at night, because it's like jing, 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 jing. I don't know. It's like sleigh bells, but it's not a sleigh. It's just my dog. It's not horses doing stuff. It's not horses trotting along. It's my dog trotting along. I guess I'll save these gems because this yellow part's still pretty wet, and I'll do this side of the camera. And it's a pretty big area, so I'm going to try this really huge brush that I got out of I think it was Art Snacks box. Holds a ton of water and pigment. It's just incredible. Let's see. Camera. I think it was this sort of like warmish, reddish brown. I've got an old bit of mixed paint that might actually be perfect right here. Might have too much black in it. I think it needs a little more red. Soon got up and stretched and went, "Hurr." Now I want more brown. But a little too much red. Now I want more brown. And now I want a sip of water. Alright. This is a good starting color, I think. Oh, no, don't do that. Dumb brush got caught on the page when pew. I can't remember if this little window right here on the camera is what color it is, whether it's similar to the camera body color. You know what? I think I better paint over the fins too, because since they're translucent, you'd be seeing this color through them, except for like right here. Body's not translucent, fish body. Sun is shaking so much. Shika, shika, shika. He has to wear his cone right now. He doesn't like it. Shakes his head a lot more than usual. He doesn't want to wear his cone. I wouldn't want to wear it either, but he's gotta wear it to protect him from himself while his eye heals from surgery. Yeah, that's nice. Yay! Oh goodness. I always do that. I don't know why I always do that. Brush just flies out of my hand. Happens all the time. Almost every time I draw or paint or anything. then my mind wandered, started thinking about Harry Potter. Sirius Black. And that quote, I did by waiting 12 years of it in Azkaban. I don't know how I got onto that. This scene just played out in my head like I was watching the movie. It's funny. Why does my mind do that sometimes? Just goes wherever. Gary Oldman is my favorite actor, so it doesn't surprise me that scenes he's been in just pop into my head. He's been my favorite ever since The Fifth Element. And he played, I think it was Zurg. And that part where that evil entity is like talking to him over the phone, but even though it's over the phone, he like starts bleeding. It's like, woo, now that is evil. You talk to it on the phone and your head starts bleeding. That was such a powerful, because like until that moment, that character had been so self-sure and whatever, like the boss guy, and then you're like, ah, he's just another pawn. And then when Gary Oldman played Sirius Black, I was like, what? What? It was awesome. And now I think that's my favorite role he's been in, Sirius Black. Whenever I read the books now, it's Gary Oldman when I read Sirius Black. So the fish fin needs to be translucent again. Maybe a little bit right there too with that fin. Now, if I could recall, the inside of this door is not brown. It had some paper pasted inside with some sort of message about the camera or something like that. I'm gonna have to look it up. Maybe not during this streaming session though, because I do have class like usual, so I'm gonna have to stop and get ready for that in about, what, 10 minutes? 10 minutes-ish. But I will paint this edge, this door edge. It's actually perfect that that the inside is different, because I'm almost out of this great color that I mixed. good. Looks good. Tall Ghost, welcome. Do I know you? Are you from an illustration class? It's so cool that you use watercolor for your projects. Thank you. I love watercolor. Emily! Hello! Do you have a Twitch? Can I follow you somewhere? Let's see, what am I going to paint next? I've got... This is still wet, so I don't want to paint the sand. Oh, I could finish the gems. That's what I'll do. You don't stream yet? You should. Your work is good. I know I've told you that before, so... I know you know that I know that your work is good. Good enough to stream. Of course, everybody's work is good enough to stream because it's fun to watch people work. Camera's bleeding into the gems. No, don't do that. There. Alright, what were the last colors? Oh, this one was green. Aw, shucks. Kawaii, cute. So let's see, this one's really like vibrant. Almost a lime green. Even neon green gem. Okay, I want to be careful. I don't want to obscure the red of the red one peeking through, shining through, showing through. Ah! As I say that, I cover it a little bit. Okay, and then right here actually is like intermixed green and red. You can barely tell though, this green doesn't really want to mix with that red. That's okay though, I can mix it myself later when I add the details. For now, just want to get the basic colors on. And that's good. And what's this? What am I seeing here? Oh, I think this is part of the same gem. Keep going. There. What paint brand do you use? I use, wow, it's escaping me. Sakura Koi. Sakura Koi. It's not fancy or anything, but I like it because it's completely non-toxic. It also has the least amount of like smell, like odor coming off of it, of the many brands of paint that I've used. And I also really like how vibrant the colors are. So it's like a quality budget option, and I've used it for years and years and years, and I'm always happy with it. So even though in like art snacks boxes and stuff like that where I get like a sample or I get a single tube of some really high quality one like Winsor & Newton or something, those ones are always like super stinky and I'm like, oh, I hate it, like the fumes or whatever. So these Sakura ones are just like, yay, completely non-toxic, no stink. Can't tell what this, I think this is supposed to be yellow. Of course, I can just make it whatever color I want, but I like following the reference image. No, it's bleeding into the camera. Oh well, that's okay. You can barely tell since it's so similar in color. Yeah, I forgot to pull some highlight off of the... Oh, it's because it's not really... Let's see, let me do this. Get it really wet again and boop. Pull off the highlight. Yay! Oh yeah, I have one of their teeny tiny travel sets. I should use it more. You definitely should. I love those sets. I have one too. My sister got me one of the little travel ones for my birthday one year, and it's so great if you get like those little 4x6. Oh, I kind of have one. Oh, right here. Oh, it's under a million things. Like these 4x6 watercolor blocks. Then do like plain air paintings using those little travel watercolor kits. And then you can like send them as postcards when you're out in the world. Like, I don't know, I haven't done it somewhere super cool, but I've done it from like the Seattle area or whatever. And paint cool scenes from there and then send them. Custom postcards. Okay, there's this one and then this one. Oh, this one's a dark blue. Let's see this color. Do you ever go anywhere and like paint or draw stuff? Like either just for practice or anything? So I wish I did that more often. In the, like definitely not this year, but in the past I would go to like Zoo Boise and just bring my sketchbook with a white charcoal pencil, a black charcoal pencil, and then maybe a graphite pencil and do quick sketches of the animals. And when I can remember, I love bringing stuff to sketch when I'm on a trip somewhere. I feel like I don't do it enough. Then again, when I go on a trip somewhere, I usually have lots of stuff I want to do, and I don't plan around plein air painting sessions, but I should do it more often. It's also good for getting reference and getting practice. I used to sketch people in cafes. I miss doing that so much. Yeah, I remember you were doing really good ones last semester before we had to go remote for like the daily sketches, or not daily sketches, for our weekly life sketches. Those are looking awesome. And then you can also enjoy a delicious drink, and it's like romantic. It's like sitting in a cafe and sketching the world as it is and drinking your drink. It's like a scene from a movie or something. Okay, last gem. And actually this is perfect timing because I've got 13 minutes until my next class, so I will be done with this at the exact right time. Done with this as far as I'm getting today. I mean, as far as I'm getting on this stream. Should add some time after class. I don't like this blue I'm mixing it with. It's like light sky blue. Oh yeah, that's better. I used to get some weird looks and get noticed sometimes. It's good though, because that, you never know who might notice you. Like one time I was sketching with some friends. We had this like once a month art club going on for a few years. And then this guy came up to us and he's like, I'm a retired artist, and then he like gave us all this advice for our careers, like out of the blue, like never charge less than $50 an hour for your work, and blah 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 blah. And like that's the thing that stuck in my head. I was like, wow, he's looking at my work, he's seeing me working in like sort of public space and telling me that I'm worth at least $50 an hour. And then of course there are people who just come up, they're like, oh, it's so cool, can I watch you draw, can I see what you're drawing? Like, that makes you feel good too. It's nice to get recognized sometimes. It's like encouraging. At least it is for me. Dang, that's awesome. Yeah, I like that the guy from ILM yesterday said the same kind of stuff, like don't do work for free, and make sure you're charging what you're worth and not less. and that kind of stuff, because I mean, I know from personal experience it's hard to ask for what you're worth, because it feels so good just to be recognized in the first place. It feels so good to have someone want your work, but if they only want it, if it takes advantage of you, then it's not worth it. You've got to protect yourself, otherwise you can't make a career out of it. Yay! Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do something once I get this back into the computer. Although maybe once I add more shadows, it'll look more cohesive. But right now it's a little too, looks like candy. Looks like some jelly beans. It's supposed to look like beautiful gemstones. But this is only like the first layer of watercolor, so I've got a lot more work to do. Still got to do the inside here, this door, the sand, shadows on everything. Yeah. But that's all I'll do today. Or probably not all today, but that's all I'll do for this session, this one session. It's awful how some people don't seem to understand that art is a valuable service. I know, and it's crazy because we all grow up loving video games, music, movies, TV shows, books, illustrated books, everything. And like so much stuff uses illustration. And I'm just thinking of illustration, like there's so many other arts that are, people think that, oh, you should do it for the exposure. Like, I'm not gonna get any exposure. Like the kind of people, the kind of entities that would be worth doing something free because you get exposure are the kind of entities that would pay you for your work, like Disney or, you know, a big company. So yeah, I don't like that. I've gotten those before. It was like, oh, well, you get lots of exposure when my comic gets big. I'm like, no, no thanks. I'm not gonna, can't pay my bills with exposure. Okay. Let's see. Yep, I think that's it for now. Well, you wouldn't pay your plumber with exposure is what I always say. Yeah, that is perfect. That is exactly right. Yeah, why don't you, can you fix my toilet for free? I'll tell all my friends. What a good job you did. Well, it's up to us to stand up for ourselves, and then that influences everyone around us, and then it just creates a better work environment for everyone. Dang, I wish I didn't have to go to class, because it's fun to chat with you. But I've got to go. Got my class in 8 minutes. So hopefully I'll see you in another stream. And if you start streaming, you should give me your thing. Well, I guess I'll follow you on Twitter either way, and then I'll know. This is cool. Looks good so far. I'll try to hang out on Discord chat. We're here soon. Sweet. Sounds good. Maybe I can chat with you secretly during class. Okay. That's it for now. Thank you for watching.